I will die. I will fucking die. God damn it. I really fucking hate myself. I don't care what you think. You have to buy this book. Like, I don't care if I'm bad at it because I'm not even gonna use it. What I really felt was like I was incompetent at this stuff. It was definitely one of my first choices when I was a kid to study political sciences and stuff. But I just see myself reading for a living. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I decided to do this little reading vlog because I realized that my YouTube is becoming a lot of booktube related contents coming out. So I decided, why not dedicate an entire vlog to Ninth City Burning, which is the book that I am currently reading today, October 22nd. You guys know that I started this last week because I uploaded this really long 50-minute vlog where I mostly read... What did I mostly read? I really wanted to do this video because I feel like I've been extremely invested in the story now, and I have so many opinions that I don't want to have in a wrap-up. I don't know, I feel like this book is really exceeding expectations for what I thought it'd be, because at first I really thought it would be just like a very I don't know, I wasn't really expecting much. Something that I touched upon in my Monte Cristo review, that you should always go into a work of fiction not expecting what's gonna be going on in this book, but blew my mind, really. It's got so many characters in it, and for me, I know that for some people it could be quite distracting to be jumping from points of view every couple of chapters, but for me it's great to have like a fresh vision. And since I'm a really nosy bitch, I love the fact that we can see what's happened to every character and what's happening from their perspective and their little part of the story, when we are kind of kept in the dark when we are with other characters. Okay, so I should probably tell you what page I'm in. I'm on page 169. I am in the second part of this book and I'm loving it so far because I love the balance between pace and world building. We're going really fast and I don't mind that at all, but at the same time we're getting world building aspects. Like it's 160 and we barely just got explained the entire war aspect. I personally love a good information dump at the beginning. That's what I really liked about Ready Player One, for example, that it was just an information dump at the beginning and I didn't have to catch on later on. But this, I'm certainly liking this. I just don't particularly like being kept in the dark because, as I told you guys, I'm a nosy bitch. So I love always being able to know what's going on, and sometimes not understanding that. I guess it's kind of like a torture device in my case, in which it's kind of holding back a little bit of information and slowly releasing it to you. And that's when I guess that's when I realized that I really fell in love with the world. I really like the little pokes that Funny makes as well. There is this part we meet Charles, who is the oldest Fontana, and I love that Jax doesn't get the reference because he is 12 years old, but Charles is like 500 years old, so he got like this reference from Star Wars and I obviously got it. But it's so funny to see how the main character we have here did not get it. I love the sense of humor that J. Patrick Black manages in the book. I also love the pacing. I love the writing. Mande. ¿El qué? No. Pues márcale. I'm really liking this book. Amazing. I might just buy the second one. I've seen it on sale on Amazon, but it's just really expensive because I think that they have to print out those, so one copy would be 7,000 pesos, which is a fucking lot of dollars. Yeah, it's like $350 for a book. So I'm not really into that. I feel like Ray and Phineas's relationship is going to be a haters to lovers thing, which I'm really excited for. Like, but it's probably not gonna be that anyway because this book is mainly sci-fi. It's not really concentrated in romance or anything, but those are the characters that are like old enough to start dating because they're I don't think they're the same age. Ray's like 19 and I don't know how old Phineas is. He's like 20 something. I've never had slow burn or haters to lovers. There wasn't a work where I actually expected that than this, So I feel like, yeah, I'm extremely invested in the story, but I'm not reading fast enough. This is nearly 500 pages long. So yeah, I'm gonna read a little more, and as soon as I'm done, as soon as I have more thoughts on it, I'll tell you guys. God damn it, I really fucking hate myself. Like, I recorded this already. I recorded like 10 minutes of me rambling to the camera, and my phone just kind of crashed. And you can probably tell I need a shower. But I am not having a shower today because tomorrow morning I have my first exam for this week. Tomorrow is Saturday, by the way. Today's Friday. Today's Friday night. My first exam is at 11:30, and yeah, I haven't studied much today. I studied yesterday. I don't know if I actually studied. I feel like I have. But anyway, I was reading to kill time, and I feel like I really want to talk about this because Ray is a fucking relatable character, and I really recommend you buy this book. Like, I don't care what you think, you have to buy this book. This is a really good book. I never thought, you know, it's normally with the books I never thought I would like, or the books that I stumble upon by accident that really become my favorite books. Like Memoirs of an Imaginary Friend was a book that was given to me by an aunt, and she just knew that I liked to read. She didn't know what I liked to read specifically, so she just gave it to me, and it became one of my favorite books ever, as well as The Timekeeper, as well as The Count of Monte Cristo. So I don't think it's a surprise that this is a book that I'm really rapidly adoring. We're talking about Ray. Ray's fucking good. I love her. She is 19 years old, and she is in a class of 12-year-olds because, well, she wants to become a warrior, but she is from outside of the settlement, so she is a savage person. So she doesn't have any education on the use of what she calls magic. She got pretty rudimentary knowledge of her magic, but it's actually called telepathy, and it's actually like physics used, like quantum mechanics. It's called irrational mechanics, I think, pretty much. So she doesn't know any of that, so she's got to go through school to understand. Like, she's pretty good at practical use, but she just has to learn the theory so that she can pass her exam. Like, at her practical examinations, she was like the best. She beat up the head of the School of Philosophy on her first try, which is pretty amazing. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to here is that she's not good at all at a couple of things. She has been really good at destroying with her telepathy, moving things and shit, but she's not really good at doing other kinds of magic. And she finds comfort in telling to herself, like, okay, I'm not even gonna use this. I'm not gonna use this for battle, so I don't care if I'm not good at it. I don't care if I can't even do it. Other people don't see her failure as important, actually, even though, like, she's one of the best in manifestation and in animation, and she's not good at this specific kind of telepathy. She does care, actually, and it runs pretty deep, because even though she finds comfort in telling herself that she's not gonna need it, so there's no use in being good at it, like, it's fine, she's also, her confidence boost from being the best of the class and doing something to being the worst in a class of 12-year-olds to do something just drops. And that happens a lot to me. For example, she's the best in her class in 2 things, and I think that I can relate to that, like being the best in a couple skills, like relative to my class. Like, I'm the best at certain things. I'm the most avid reader, and well, I used to be my class because I'm homeschooled now. I used to be the most avid reader. I used to be the most artistic one in dance, and I was pretty good at reading too, and I was pretty good at leadership as well. I was seen as the ace of the class, you know, but I was extremely bad at math. I was extremely bad at biology. I was really bad at, and I just didn't care. At that point, I was like, I don't care if I'm bad at it because I'm not even gonna use it. What I really felt was like I was incompetent at this stuff. I had a friend who really was the ace. Like, she's not my friend, she's more like an acquaintance. Yeah, she was like the ace. She's super good at school, and she's really, really smart, and she's like nice, and she was like friends with the teachers and with the school psychologists and shit. She was trying too hard, I guess, and I was one of those people who had wasted potential. You know, I never really tried. Even though I was good at stuff, I didn't like to try. I don't know, I guess I am a little bit of an anarchist, and I am a little bit against the system. So yeah, I mean, that could be a reason why I didn't really try. And that's a little bit of what happens to Ray. Like, she has this certain motivation, like I did, to finish school because I wanted to study something that I wanted in college rather than studying everything in high school. And Ray is like, I have to learn about this because I want to go into battle with my sister to protect her so that I can actually harness my power and keep it. Because one of the things that Vinny is actually threaten her about is that if she left, she would have to forget, like they would have to like erase her memory to make her forget about Calamity and about the magic that she can use. So yeah, she wants to be able to harness her power and use it, and she also wants to be able to protect her sister. So that's why she's going through this schooling, but that doesn't mean she actually enjoys it. Like, she's barely friends with 2 kids in her class because like I think that friendship is like holding her together at this point. And the fact that she has her sister, which by the way, she's so relatable in that aspect too, because her sister Naomi is like 10 years old, right? Or 11 years old, or I think 9, something like that. She's around the 10s. She made a point for Ray not to embarrass her in school, and she's already got like a strike in which, you know, she hugged her and kissed her and called her sunshine in public. I feel like that would be me with my nephew when he grows a little bit older. I also love the fact that the use of language that J. Patrick Black has used is like really refreshing, because sometimes you get tired of the colloquial language used in like the urbanized sectors, you know, like Jax and Toro have like very common crutches that they use, and sometimes it gets a little tiring. So then we get like the unurbanized people, which is Ray and Naomi, and that's really fun, even though I have to Google every 5 seconds because I just don't know which words to use. I don't wanna waste my time. Back it up, back it up. Hi guys. You see me in my office. It's not my office, my room. You see me in my room. I have to kind of clean up in here because it's really messy. I haven't cleaned up in a while. I just came back from my exams and I just started reading. God, I'm in a Kizabel chapter and I love Kizabel. Can I date her? I would definitely date Kizabel. Like, she's my type. I don't know. She's just so cute. She's so passionate about her work, but she's got a sense of humor as well. And she needs motivation sometimes, but I feel like she really does believe in herself, and she knows her full potential, and she can exploit her limits, which is amazing. And also her relationship with Lady Jane. God damn it, why is that so cute? So adorable. Like the last line of the first chapter that I read on Kizabel today. Well, the first one is like, my imaginary friend, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm not your imaginary friend, you know? Well, since Kizabel kind of failed with her project, Lady says, I worry about you, that's all. If you keep this up, you're going to hurt yourself. And what happened to me being your best friend? To what Kizabel says, you're not imaginary. In my workshop, Lady has conjured an enormous desk behind her mirrors, cluttered with messily leaning stacks of paper and vintage calculating machines. She wears a short-sleeved button-down shirt, front pockets stuffed with pens, and a necktie of nearly unthinkable ugliness. Regarding me seriously from beneath a transparent green visor, she says, I'm still your friend. And oh my god, I will die. I will fucking die. It's been a while since a YA, is this a YA fantasy? No, it's not fantasy. Is this a YA sci-fi? I am inclined to think this is a YA sci-fi, but I feel like it's way too long to be a YA. Well, not too long, but I think it is like way too, I know, I'm not gonna say it's a YA, I'm just gonna say it's a sci-fi. Actually, this book is kind of revolutionizing the way that I view sci-fi now, because I think this is the first actual sci-fi I'm reading till the end. Because the first sci-fi I tried reading was Astronauts by Stanislaw Lem, and I couldn't really, like, I was kind of young by the time I started reading it, so it was a little heavy for me, and I didn't finish it. It's actually my quarantine TBR. I think it still applies to be quarantine TBR because we're still under supposed we're not in lockdown anymore, we're just kind of in a red light, I guess. We're in an orange light, or yellow, we're in orange light, I think, which is not that bad, but still. I really wanted to get more into sci-fi and also fantasy. I feel like this also mixes up some fantasy elements because the way that the unincorporated citizens, it's basically Rachel and Naomi, okay, really do view these sci-fi things as magic. And for example, Rachel conjures things up as magic. Like she says, I pulled from my magic this white fire, whatever. And I feel like that's a lot of incorporating the fantasy elements while also being sci-fi. I hate when books or movies or whatever are like the classifications are sci-fi or fantasy, or sci-fi and fantasy, as though they were so similar that they have to be put in the same category. I've always been angered at that because there's an absolute difference in what sci-fi is and what fantasy is. I once tried writing a sci-fi book. It's really complicated to do when you want to be scientifically accurate. Even for your own world that you're building, you have to build up the rules of the science that you're using. I think it is a lot easier to make your own shit up than to actually establish it in the real world, because people can actually verify it, I guess. Something else that I really like is that in Isabel's chapters we get footnotes, which is so amazing, and it really goes with Isabel's personality, you know, because she's a philosopher, and so she's extremely smart and extremely knowledgeable, and she makes things basically. She creates gadgets and creates machines and things like that, and I do believe that since she's so well read, she would be really used to explaining to readers what she's talking about for context. So like these footnotes are not entirely just like for scientific reference, but it's more like just things that she finds relevant about her own story and about her day and about the situation that she's in. For example, she does say that she goes into the chest cavity of the project because her project is like a big machine, like a robot. She sits in the throne because the throne is basically like where she controls the robot, and she puts a footnote in there that says, I take a breath, close my hands around the project scripts, and settle back into the throne. Actually, just one of my reading chairs bolted into the project's chest cavity, serviceable but somewhat hack in appearance compared to legionary thrones with their ergonomic design and exemplary lumbar support. So yeah, it's just really fun to read about. I love it, and I love that her speech is fluent and common, and it has slang. Like I think she's 20 something years old, so it makes sense for her to speak like this. But it's also got a lot of very technical things because she's working currently. So yeah, I really like the thought that is put into each character, their personality, and how that translates into the book format. I think it'd be a great TV show because we get very different perspectives. Like we don't just follow one character, we follow around like 6 or 7 characters. So I feel like it'd be a very, very nice TV show if they commit it. And also the visuals are so good. Like I can kind of imagine this like an HBO series. Yeah, not a Netflix one because Netflix doesn't really commit, but HBO, I feel like they also have like great production, and they give it like a very nice emerging budget. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading because I'm just in page 238, and I kind of want to finish it this weekend. It's Monday today, and I have not finished the book, but I'm about 100 pages from finishing this, so that means that I'll finish it today. We are in basically the last battle for the Earth against the aliens. I like it very much. Actually, I like how there was building up and that they didn't really pull the shit out of their ass. I like that there was it's just a lot of books have resolutions that kind of seem like they were just thought up like that, and like the writer had a deadline and we're like, okay, I gotta wrap this shit up like really quickly, but he didn't. He actually gave a lot of thought to it. The conclusion is pretty damn good. And I also like that it sets up for a couple antagonists, like besides the Valentines. There's also this commander whom I forgot the name of. I'm so sorry. I seriously did not, like, I can recognize his name, but I just can't really, I don't know. They have really weird names, honestly. And he doesn't really, he's mentioned a lot, but he doesn't appear as much. But anyway, this commander as well, who is actually playing for his own interests rather than for the, I guess, greater good. He's not thinking outside the box and prolonging the inevitable, rather than Phineas, who is like, he's a fresh mind. I wanted to talk a little bit about a video that I was planning on doing about my major, about what I want to study. I'm currently studying high school. If I weren't homeschool, I'd probably graduate high school when I were 19, because I did like an extra year because of my school required for me to do an extra year. I didn't flunk any year, okay? I gotta make that clear. My school had a 7th grade, and we normally don't have a 7th grade. We have 6 grades, then 3 years of secondary school, and then 3 years of preparatory school, and then college. So in total we have, again, 12 years of education, but we don't have we don't manage it by 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th grade, you know what I mean? That was a little bit of a setback for my entire class who came out of the school. So all of us were going to graduate at 19, but I decided to actually do my own schooling from home with the government program. And my parents actually were not really keen on the idea because they thought it was for lazies and normal misconceptions that happen when you don't even try. My major is what I'm most worried about. It's a choice that I gotta make at 17 that is pretty much gonna, you know, I could totally switch majors. My brother switched majors like 3 times. I want to get out of here as soon as possible, you know what I mean? I don't want to live in my parents' house all the time. My oldest brother was here until he turned 28 when he got married, and my brother is 26 and he's barely, like, I guess he kind of moved out on a whim with his partner, with his girlfriend. They're not dating per se, they're kind of, I don't know, it's a weird thing. Like, they're not doing the labels thing, but they are going out. They moved in together. I just don't want to do that, you know? I want to move out as soon as I can, and preferably, if I can, study in another country to become more independent. I am on board with that, because I don't know, I don't like to be at home. I mean, I love being indoors, and I don't like going out, and I like being in bed, but I don't like this house. My habits are very different from my mother's, and that is very awkward sometimes, because sometimes I'd rather go to sleep at 5 a.m. and wake up super late, and sometimes I'd rather sleep extremely early and wake up at 4 a.m. to start my day early. And obviously my first choice is to study English literature somewhere else, because that is not a subject that we offer here, you know, nationally. The closest thing is my state university, tuition super low and good education, Latin American literature, basically. And well, not exactly Latin, well, yeah, it's Latin American, but Hispano-American, because we don't cover Brazilian literature, I think. The thing that I really want to study, though, is in the University of Salzburg, there is this major course that is offered called Study of Romance Languages, which is basically the study of linguistics, literature, and communications and language, and work written in Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese. They also teach you the basics of the languages, both European and American. It's amazing. I really want to study that. It's also a 3-year major, because apparently a lot of European majors are 3 years instead of 4. My safe plan is to study law, because my godfather is a judge, a magistrate, and my godmother's brother, so like an uncle, I guess, he has his own law firm. So my dad told me, like, oh, you're definitely gonna study law and you can get a job pretty easily and pretty quickly. But I don't know, I don't really want to be miserable, because I do like law. It was definitely one of my first choices when I was a kid, to study political sciences and stuff, but I just see myself reading for a living. I want to read for a living, and that's something that is becoming pretty popular, I believe. So it's great, but I don't think it's the same. For example, I was watching Emma on channel Emmy, and how she always talks about that there are a lot of things that a student can achieve when they are studying English, and for me it's not like that. I remember this came to light on my sister-in-law's birthday, and I said, I want to study literature in general, and they said, oh no, you're not gonna make any money. And I realized they were really elitist. I don't know, it's a problem. Anyway, I'm gonna go reading. I just finished Ninth City Burning. It took me a few days, more than I expected, but I'm finally done with this thing. I thought it was, okay, first of all, can you guys see the spine? I don't think you can. Well, it's a little bit wrecked. Only a little bit though. I really want to buy Under Seven Skies. I feel like that is going to be a really good book, but I'm not willing to pay so much money for it. So if you guys know where I can get it for cheap, I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, Ninth City Burning is an extremely underrated book. Like, I looked up reviews on YouTube and shit, and I didn't find anything. I don't know why. I don't know why this book is so underrated and under talked about. I will definitely say that even though there were some parts, I personally feel like it's very tedious to read about battle or fighting scenes. But when I was reading through Ninth City Burnings, especially the last ones, they were super fun to read. Especially the ones between the Fontani, I don't know. But under those, when they shaded to their Fontani Osuku, which is basically like their dreams. It's like a reality. It's like a heightened reality, and it's just really, really, it's cool. I adore it. Honestly, it's super cool. I don't know, they were so exciting, especially because I was hoping for an outcome, a specific outcome to come of it. It was so good. I swear, this book had me hooked at the end. I think I read like 100 pages today or more. I think I read a lot today because I just couldn't put it down. It was so good. Spoiler talk, I don't give a shit. You guys probably don't give a shit either, but whatever. Phineas and Rachel? God damn it. Okay, can I also, like, I want a Phineas in my life. Fucking Phineas is like so smooth. He reminds me of myself sometimes because I can be pretty smooth. I just love Phineas, and I love his interactions with Emwe. Somebody who I also really adored was Kizabel. Kizabel was one of my favorite characters in the entire book, and I loved seeing her with Ray. Like, I feel like J. Patrick Black had like a very well-rounded sense of what it was to be not what it is to be a woman per se, but of what it is to write a woman. You know, she just wrote her like any other character, as well as Ray, and it was so satisfying to read about them because it just felt so real. And the use of formatting that he gave Kizabel's parts, just her personality was just so around it. I just love Kizabel, honestly. I adore her, especially her relationship with Ray. They became so close in so little time, and I just love that. I also feel like Emwe and Kizabel would make a pretty good couple. I think it's just so good. I just don't have words for it now. I just finished it. I recorded a video today as well. I want to get that one out for Halloween, and I want to get a couple videos scheduled already. So yeah, we're gonna work on that. And I am going to start The Shining. I'm gonna see if I can finish it before Halloween. I wanted to read so many books, and I ended up reading like 4. It was really enjoyable to read Ninth City Burning. I really recommend that to anybody, really. If you want to read a sci-fi and you haven't ever read sci-fi before, but you want a good start to your sci-fi, read Ninth City Burning. It's so good, honestly. I love it. I just can't. I think it's my first proper sci-fi, like the first sci-fi I actually finished. I'm gonna give it 5 stars, personally. It was so good. I think I'll see you around for another video. I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna end it right now because I don't have anything else to say, and all I can say is read Ninth City Burning. I am begging you to read it.